Hello, my name is Greg Villalobos, and in this short film, I'm going to try and help you make sure you order the right sized Adventure Spec clothing. Okay, so Adventure Spec is online only, so we know that it can be a challenge to go in and try something on before you buy and make sure you got the right size. And we know that you guys have been asking some questions, such as, I have my notes, how does Adventure Spec sizing work? What size jacket should I order? If I order a size medium Linesman jacket, should I order a size large Aquapack jacket over the top? These are just some of the questions that we have been getting asked. And I'm going to try and answer these and help you understand how our sizing works and give you everything you know to give you the best chance of getting the right size the first time. Okay, so Adventure Spec clothing is all built around the idea of ADV layering. So that really means only wear what you need when you need it. The outdoor mountaineering folk have been doing this for decades. It's a little bit less common in motorcycling, but let's assume you've spent a little bit of time walking on the hills. So you go into an outdoor shop that sells all sorts of kind of walking gear. And over there you've got your base layer section. In the middle you've got your mid layer section, and then you've got your kind of outer soft shells and your waterproof layers, and you might also have like an insulated jacket section. And really, if you're going to go off and walk up a big hill, you know you're probably going to need one of each of those things, and a rucksack to put them in. And so that's why when you see people walking up the hills, they might be in the car park with a t-shirt on, and they've got their rucksack, and they know as they go higher and they get colder, they stop, they get their rucksack off, they put a mid layer on. As they keep walking, maybe the weather changes and it starts to rain, they stop, they put their waterproof jacket on while it's raining. 20 minutes later it stops raining, they're getting hot, so they stop and they put their waterproof jacket back in their bag and off they go. What they don't do is put one big thick heavy jacket on at the car park and wear that all the way up to the top. They adapt and change their clothing depending on the conditions, and that principle is what the whole of Adventure Spec clothing has really been built around, with the added performance required for motorcycling. And when I say performance, what I mean there is safety. So making sure that our clothing includes the safety features you need as a motorcyclist, but also the particular requirements for adventure motorcycling, such as longer arms, so that when you've got your arms stretched forwards, they're covered all the way to your wrists, which something like a walking jacket might not do. Plus things like a longer bum in our waterproof jackets, so when you're stood up, we know you've got a lot of spray coming up the back, and also kind of little features around where the pockets are, and how the clothing interacts with your other motorcycling gear. And you can find out more about each of those garments on our website and in our other product videos. There is one challenge with this approach to having lots of different clothes for different conditions. If you had one jacket that did everything, you would put that on, you'd choose the size, away you go. It might work for some situations, but for a lot of other situations, you're going to be quite uncomfortable, but at least you know it would fit. The challenge that we have, and maybe why you're watching this film, is that if you've got lots of different layers, how do you know which size to wear depending on what layers you're wearing and what conditions you're experiencing? And so I'm going to try and explain a little bit how I approach this. Be warned, there is not a black and white answer to this. I cannot tell you that because you're a size X chest that you need this size for the entire range. It really comes down to where you're most likely to wear those layers and your approach to comfort and compromise. So stick with me, it's not going to take long, and by the end of it, hopefully you'll have a better idea of how this is going to work for you. Okay, so I've been wearing Adventure Spec clothing for about 7 years now, from the early prototypes right through to the full range, and I also wear the stuff that we've got coming up and I'm testing it. I'm going to explain to you how I size for myself. And then I'm also going to put a caveat on that and say that if you're not the same size as me and are not the same body shape as me, I'm going to give you some advice about how you might want to approach this. So I am a size small. I am not a very big human being. I appreciate that the chances of you being a small are probably slim, and you are more likely to be a medium large or extra large. But here's the principle, okay? All of my Adventure Spec clothing layers, upper body, are size small, okay? My core base layers are a size small. Over the top of that, I put on my Baltic hybrid jacket that I'm wearing now. That is a size small. My Baltic insulated jacket is a size small. Over the top of my hybrid, I would put a Linesman jacket. That is a size small. And over the top of my Linesman jacket, I would wear an Aquapack jacket. That is also size small. Now, I will explain to you what that means in practice because there are some pros and some cons. 70 to 85% of the time, I am going to be riding in my Supershirt, which is a size small, and my Linesman jacket, which is also size small. So I have said to myself that those two things are the things that I'm going to wear together the most, and they are both a size small and they fit perfectly. I haven't gone for a small super shirt and a medium Linesman jacket. If I did that, I'd be walking around like a 7-year-old wearing my dad's jacket. I want it to fit well and I don't want it to be too baggy. Now, if it starts getting cold and I put, say, this Baltic hybrid on underneath, this is a very thin jacket. It has very little impact on my comfort level in terms of any kind of restrictions. It fits well. If it was colder and I put on the Baltic insulated jacket, which is thick, I would start to feel a little bit restricted. If it was then cold and wet and I had the super shirt on, I had the Baltic insulated jacket on, I had the Linesman jacket on, and then I had, say, the Aquapack or Singletrack jacket on over the top of that, I fully appreciate that once I've got every item of clothing, I'm going to start to feel a little bit restricted. All of those clothes that I've mentioned are a size small. Now, you could argue that by the time I've got all those things on, I really could do with going up a size for my waterproof layer to a size medium. Yeah, that's true, okay? But what happens when I just want to wear the super shirt and the Aquapack jacket because it's hot but it's wet? Now, if I did that and I had a size small super shirt on and a medium-sized Aquapack jacket, that Aquapack jacket is just going to be really baggy, really, really baggy. It might be a bit more comfortable once I've got all my other layers on, but if I'm only wearing those two things, the Aquapack jacket is just going to be far too large for me. So I choose to make my compromise where I have everything on, my outer layer is a little bit snug. I'm only really going to be wearing all of those things together for 5 to 15% of the time. And I am happy to make that compromise because what it means is that if I, say, wanted to take the dog for a walk and put on my Aquapack or my Singletrack jacket literally over my t-shirt and a pair of jeans, I'm getting maximum value out of that very, very high performing waterproof jacket because I can go down to the park with the dog and wear that like a normal jacket because I've sized it as a size small, which is what size I am. But I know that me being a size small is not necessarily reflective of everyone else, and the chances of you being size small are probably pretty slim. So I was talking to Dave Lomax about this yesterday before we made this film, and Dave explained his situation. So Dave is a size medium, but kind of the upper end of a size medium, and he actually he wears size medium in his base layers and his mid layers. He wears a size medium for his Linesman jacket, but by the time he's got onto his outer layer, he does actually go up a size and he wears a size large Aquapack over the top of that. I know that you would like a simple answer to help you get the right size. What I'm trying to communicate to you is that you need to figure out where you sit on that kind of compromise table. And if you're at the upper end of the scale for one of those sizes, say a medium, for example, like Dave, you may well choose to wear a large in your final outer waterproof layer. But I think you should take away this idea that your base layers, your mid layers, and most likely your Linesman jacket or Mongolia jacket are most likely to be all the same size. The point at which you might want to scale up and get a larger size would be your waterproof layer, depending on where you sit in terms of your body size on that sizing scale. One other thing that I want to point out. One of the challenges that we have in this layering system is that when you've got everything on, it means, so if I had everything on, if I had my base layer, mid layer, outer layer, waterproof layer on, that I would be wearing a number of collars. So this is the Baltic hybrid, and if I zip that up, that's a collar. If I put my Linesman jacket over the top, that's a collar on top of that. If I put a Singletrack jacket over the top, that's another collar. Now, sometimes what happens is you might expect that all of those collars would constrict and actually start to feel quite uncomfortable. However, what we have done with our sizing specifically to combat this is that if you take this as a 0 point, as a 0 on the scale, the Linesman jacket is +1, so it's a little bit more relaxed, and the Singletrack jacket is a +2, which is even more relaxed. So that means that if I had a size small in everything that I'm wearing, the collar sizes become more relaxed without having to go up a size. So we've specifically done that because we know that if you're wearing everything underneath it, by the time you've put your waterproof layer on, you're going to need that collar to be a little bit more relaxed. And it works very well, and it's something you don't really appreciate until you put everything on and you realize that you don't have any restricted movement. So I hope this has helped. Like I said at the start, I wish there was a really easy black and white answer to help you get exactly the right size 100% of the time. The point that I really hope you take away from this is that you just need to have a little think about how you're going to use your layers and size accordingly. We've done our best to try and make sure that everything fits within one sizing range. So if you're a medium, you should be a medium for everything. There are exceptions to that. You also need to figure out where you're prepared to make a little bit of compromise once you're wearing everything. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you, or the community might get there first. If you want to find out more about our gear, go to our website. There's more films on YouTube. If you appreciate this approach to talking about motorcycle gear, do subscribe here. Final thing, I have a email newsletter that I send out once a week. I'm pretty proud of it. I put quite a lot of effort into it. Go to the website. I'll leave a link in the description. If you want me and bite-sized snippets every week in your email inbox, you can subscribe there too. Thank you. Happy riding, safe riding. I will see you soon.